So are federal prosecutors looking to put Fani Willis, our Fulton County DA, in jail? Well, there's been a fair amount of speculation about that very question recently, and I'm going to try to break it down for you with as much as I know. I touched on it briefly back in a prior video about the 3 bad things that had happened to Fani Willis all in a row, and I got a lot of questions about it. So let me explain. Recently, a New York Times article revealed that there had been a subpoena issued by a federal grand jury. So the subpoena came out of the Northern District of Georgia. Those are the federal courts that cover Atlanta. And the subpoena was asking for Fani Willis's travel records. Well, the knee-jerk reaction by me and many others was, oh, they're probably just looking for her travel records to DC, from 22, 23, before the indictment of the president by her, where a lot of people believe that she had gone to DC or had people go to DC to coordinate this prosecution, which would clearly be troublesome because no political party should be coordinating with a prosecutor at all when it comes to criminal prosecutions. However, when you look carefully at this New York Times article and some of the other media that's reported on it recently, this subpoena was for the fall of 2024 international travel records. And that makes things a bit more of a mystery for all of us because, look, by fall of 2024, the indictment of the president had already happened. The whole affair of hers with Nathan Wade had already blown up. Wade was off the case. The defendants had appealed to get Fani completely removed from the case, and that was pending before the Court of Appeals. So by fall of 2024, that prosecution had ground to a halt. So what do we know was happening in 2024 in the fall? Well, obviously the election. Not just the election of the president, but Fani Willis's reelection, and she was reelected. But so now we're into speculation. What could this grand jury be looking into? Well, the first thing I have to make clear is it might not be Fani at all. So her travel records could theoretically be peripheral to investigation into someone else, all right? So they may not be looking into her at all. However, is it possible that the administration would like to look into criminal prosecution of the prosecutor who went after him? Of course. How do we know that? Well, he's gone after Comey. He's gone after Letitia James. So is it hard to believe that he would go after Fani Willis? Of course not. So is it possible? Yeah, it's possible they're looking at her as a criminal defendant. So what could they possibly be thinking that she has done? Again, we're in speculation world here. However, we do know based on her prior testimony and some of the things that came out that she misused public funds, in my view. So there's different kinds of potentially maybe fraud. One of my very smart friends had suggested honest services fraud, which I think is very interesting. Obstruction, maybe misuse of public funds. I'm just speculating here, but those are some things that might make a good fit. If you want to go down the tinfoil hat, crazy rabbit hole theories on international travel, we know that Fani likes cash. She's certainly made that clear. And so international travel and cash, to me, always puts up a red flag of putting our cash in a place where the federal government can't find it. Now, I don't do that, so I don't know how easy it is to travel with large amounts of cash. But that's just the crazy speculation part of it. So the one more thing I'll tell you is it may be a minute before we even know what it is they're looking into because grand jury proceedings are secret. How did we find out about this subpoena? How did the New York Times find out? Well, the person who receives a subpoena isn't necessarily under obligation to keep that secret. So my guess is whoever got it may have leaked it out to the New York Times. So all we can do is kind of sit and wait to see whether this federal grand jury does decide to indict her or someone else. And of course, we have to address the elephant in the room, RICO. Would it not be absolutely ironic if they were to find a way to indict her on RICO charges? I know that if you are a Young Thug fan, that might be better than Christmas and your birthday all rolled into one. So can't say that that's going to happen, but it would be damn funny if it did. So anyway, that's all I really know about it right now. A lot of it is speculation. It's the best I can tell you, but I will keep you updated.